If it's your first time losing weight, then it's actually pretty simple. Just get yourself in a calorie deficit, make sure that you exercise, and make sure that you get enough sleep. And with all of them things in combination, you'll probably lose a decent amount of weight. But we all know that weight loss isn't that simple. So I'm going to share with you how I've lost over 40 pounds in my most recent fat loss journey and how you can do the same by the end of this video. Step number 1 is mindset. To lose weight, you must want to lose the weight. The want and the need and the desire for a better life must come from yourself and nobody else. Step number 2 is going to be building good habits. Now what I want you to do is download MyFitnessPal, and at the end of each and every day you're going to write down on the notes app how many calories you totaled for that day. Download Happy Scale, buy yourself a weighing scale for food, and buy yourself another scale so you can actually weigh yourself. Now at this point we're not making any changes to your diet, we're just getting you to have the basic fundamental skills that are going to be needed for successful fat loss. Step number 3 is the analysis. Now over the past 2 to 3 weeks you should have gathered a significant amount of data that you'll be able to analyze. Now what I want you to do is to calculate your average calories for the 2 to 3 week period and calculate your average weight. This will give you a starting point of where you're at, and I'm going to want you to write these down. Now at this point I want you to go into the MyFitnessPal app and familiarize yourself with all of the foods that you have been eating, the certain types of food, how many calories, is there enough protein in that type of food. Ask yourself, are you filled from the food that you're eating? Now once you've done your review of the foods that you're eating, I want you to see if you can make any simple swaps. Now simple swaps are simple swaps that you can make in your diet that can actually account for a large amount of fat loss and weight loss with minimal friction. Now these simple swaps are going to be very easy and go unnoticed within your diet, thus making the process a lot easier for you, and it's a lot easier to stick to. So these swaps could be swapping your regular Cokes for Diet Cokes, swapping your regular sugar for your drinks for 0-calorie alternatives, using leaner cuts of meat that have less fat and have less calories, using 0% fat Greek yogurt instead of the full fat versions. You get the point. Now what you'll notice is that you will start losing weight, and that is great, but as the weeks and the months go on, you'll notice that your scale weight is going down, and then at some point it will just kind of flatten out. Now from that point you just rinse and repeat the process. Go back into MyFitnessPal, review the foods that you're eating, and ask yourself, can I make this a more calorie friendly food? Can I make this food higher in protein? Can I make this food more filling so I can have more of it for less calories? Step 4 is going to be optimizing your diet and your lifestyle for fat loss. Now when we're looking to lose weight, we want to prioritize low calorie dense food. These are going to be foods that have very little calories, but they're also going to be very filling, so we can eat a lot of it. Now when we're picking our low calorie dense foods, we're going to want to be picking foods that we actually enjoy, because if we pick foods that we enjoy, we're going to be able to stick to eating that food for a prolonged period of time. Now at this stage I made a list of all of my favorite foods, around 3 to 6 of them, and once you make that list, what I want you to go and do is go on TikTok, go on YouTube, or wherever you want to go, and look up lower calorie versions of your favorite foods. Now ideally the foods you're going to be picking are going to be very high in protein, very voluminous, and going to be very filling. You're also going to want to have foods that are easy to make and don't take a lot of time to make. And in an ideal world, you're going to want to pick foods that you can easily meal prep, so you can have your food on the go when it's at a time that's convenient for you. So there are no excuses. Part 2 is going to be exercise, in particular weight training and cardio. We are gonna want to be absolutely doing weight training, because that's what's going to help us avoid becoming skinny fat. I made this mistake and I looked like the second coming of Mike Wazowski. It was terrible. So we need to start weightlifting so we can put some muscle on our frame and we can start building an aesthetic physique. We're also going to want to do some form of cardio. If you're just starting out, ideally something that is not very intense. So no running, no sprints, no HIIT cardio, nothing like that. Something nice and easy, like steady state cardio that you can do where you can hold a conversation with somebody without being out of breath. Things like this could be just be walking. If you don't usually exercise, go out for maybe a 10-minute walk every day and keep progressively overloading. Now be careful with the cardio. Don't be doing too much of it, because this can actually lead to increased levels of hunger and oftentimes lead to you overeating, thus resulting in you being in a calorie surplus and not in a deficit where you're not losing any weight. Now over a couple of weeks weeks or months, you would have lost a pretty substantial amount of weight. But you want to make sure that you don't put all of that weight back on. So I'd recommend this video where I show you how to avoid that dreaded fat regain after a diet.